David Crosswell had always been careful. That's why he was still free. His past was behind him. His mistakes, forgotten. Or so he thought. A new city. A new life. No one watching. No one looking for him. At least, that's what he believed. But in the quiet corners of his new world, someone had been observing. Someone who had never forgotten. Emily Carter had spent the past year studying him. Tracking his movements. And while David believed he was starting fresh, she was already 10 steps ahead. David Crosswell believed he was in control. That the past was behind him. That no one would ever connect the dots. But Emily Carter had learned something about men like him. They never truly changed. And most importantly, they always left behind patterns. For months, she had followed his movements. Carefully. Quietly. Never close enough for him to notice. But close enough to recognize the signs. And tonight? For the first time, she saw it. David had taken an interest in someone. A girl. Young. Alone. Emily's pulse quickened. She had promised herself she wouldn't interfere. That she would wait. Gather proof. Expose him the right way. But if she did nothing now, would this girl become another unanswered question? She had a choice. Stay in the shadows. Or step into the light. Emily had prepared for this moment. She had studied his habits. Understood how he operated. And tonight, she knew exactly what was about to happen. David was paying attention to someone new. A girl, unaware of the world shifting around her. Emily moved quickly. She couldn't let him see her. If he knew she was here, everything would fall apart. The girl turned a corner. A side street. Emily's pulse spiked. Bad choice. She pulled out her phone, her fingers flying over the screen. Envelope with arrow, anonymous text sent. Turn around. Now. The girl hesitated. Then, she stopped. Looked at her phone. And glanced over her shoulder. For the first time, she noticed him. David was too close. Emily held her breath. He didn't react. Didn't move. But his expression shifted, just slightly. A harmless smile. A casual stance. Like this was nothing. But the girl wasn't fooled. She took a step back. Then another. Then, she turned and walked away. David didn't follow. Not this time. Emily exhaled. She had stopped him. For now. But now, she knew something else. David wasn't just interested in someone new. He was getting bolder. And soon. A text wouldn't be enough. Emily never relied on luck. Luck didn't get her this far. Planning did. Preparation. She had been watching David long enough to know his habits. And if there was one thing she understood, it was how he chose them. Young. Isolated. Girls who wouldn't be missed right away. Girls who followed routines. Girls like Hannah Wells. Emily had seen her before. Noticed her in the library, sitting alone, headphones in, studying for hours. She had recognized the pattern immediately. So she did what she always did. She prepared. Days before, she had slipped a note into Hannah's backpack. No name. No explanation. Just a simple line. If you ever feel like someone is watching you, text this number. Hannah never did. Because Hannah never realized. Until tonight. Until she checked her phone. Until she saw the warning that came from an unknown sender. Emily watched from the shadows as Hannah ran. She would be safe tonight. But Emily knew the truth. David wouldn't stop. He never did. And now, for the first time in a year, he had lost control. Emily could almost feel it. He would be restless. Frustrated. Looking for answers. looking for who took his moment away. And if she wasn't careful, he would find her. David Crosswell didn't believe in coincidences. Not when it came to the details. And tonight? Something felt wrong. The moment had been perfect. But then, the girl had turned around, looked at her phone, and left. David didn't react. Didn't follow. But deep down, something was unsettling. Something he had felt once before. Like an echo of a mistake he had already made. He exhaled, his jaw tightening. This wasn't instinct. This wasn't luck. Someone had warned her. Just like before. For a year, he had convinced himself that chapter was over. That she was gone. But now? Now, he wasn't so sure. Because this wasn't just a lost moment. It was a pattern. And if he was right, it meant she was back. And this time, he wouldn't let her get away. Emily had spent a year waiting for this moment. A year tracking his habits. Watching him slip back into old routines. She thought she knew exactly how he worked. But tonight? Something had changed. David had always been patient. Careful. But after Hannah ran, after his failed moment, he didn't disappear. Instead, he stayed. Not lurking. Not hiding. Just, watching. Emily sat at the coffee shop across the street, her laptop open but untouched. She saw the way he lingered outside the library entrance. How his head tilted slightly, like he was listening for something no one else could hear. And then, he turned. Not toward the library. Not toward the passing students. But toward her. Emily's breath caught. No. He couldn't know. She was just another face in the crowd. A stranger. But David's eyes lingered on the cafe window for just a second too long. Like he could feel her presence. Like he knew. Emily forced herself to stay still. To act normal. To breathe. Then, just as quickly as it happened, he looked away. Turned his head. Walked off. Emily exhaled slowly, fingers tightening around her cup. Had he really sensed something? Or was she just imagining it? Her mind replayed his expression. The way he had hesitated. No. She wasn't imagining it. David felt it. He had lost control before. And now? He was starting to realize. He might not be the only one watching. David didn't believe in ghosts. But someone was watching him too closely. Something he couldn't see. It had started as a feeling, an unease that sat just beneath his skin. The girl had run. Not because of him, but because of something else. Because of someone else. And now? He could feel eyes on him. Unfamiliar. Persistent. Someone was watching. David didn't like uncertainty. So he did what he always did. He set a trap. He walked his usual route, past the library, past the student center. He moved casually, like nothing had changed. But his mind was sharp. Tracking everything. The faces. The movement. The way people turned away, lost in their own worlds. And then. A pattern. A presence. Not close. Not obvious. But there. A figure in the distance, always just far enough to be forgettable. Never in the same place, but always in his periphery. David's lips curled slightly. There you are. He didn't stop walking. Didn't react. Instead, he made a choice. He would lead them. And if they followed? Then he would finally know. Who had been hunting him? Emily had been careful. She had spent months making sure she stayed invisible. Blending in. Watching from a distance. She never got too close. Never made a move too soon. But now? Now, she had a problem. David was leading her. Not aimlessly. Not casually. With purpose. His pace never changed. His posture never tensed. But Emily knew. He was testing her. Checking for a shadow in his wake. And for the first time in a year, she was losing control. She adjusted her stride, forcing herself to slow down. Breathe. Think. He doesn't know who you are. Not yet. But if she kept following, if she let herself get pulled deeper into his pace, his game, he would know. He would look over his shoulder, lock eyes with her, and everything she had built would collapse. Emily's heart pounded. She had seconds to decide. Keep following? Risk exposure? Or cut her losses? And disappear? Emily had seconds to decide. To disappear. To run. To let him slip through her fingers. Or to step deeper into the game. Her breath was steady, but her mind was screaming. If she backed off now, she might never get this close again. But if she kept going? She had to be careful. No hesitation. No mistakes. She adjusted her path, stepping into a small convenience store off the main road. A calculated move. She grabbed a random bottle of water, lingered just long enough to blend in. And when she stepped out, David was gone. Emily's pulse spiked. No. She scanned the street, keeping her expression neutral. Had he really left? Or was he waiting? Then. A reflection. A faint, distorted shape in the darkened glass of a nearby storefront. He hadn't left. He was watching. Testing her. A slow, methodical hunt. Emily swallowed hard. She had studied him. But now, for the first time, he was studying her. And if she wasn't careful, she wouldn't be the one hunting him. She would be the next name on his list. Emily's mind was racing. David had seen her. Not just seen, recognized. She saw it in the way he hesitated. The way his head tilted slightly. The way his gaze lingered a fraction of a second too long. A second was all she needed. She turned. Not too fast. Not too slow. Just enough to blend in. To disappear into the crowd before he could make a move. Every nerve in her body screamed at her to run. But running would confirm it. Running would tell him she was afraid. So instead, she spotted a taxi idling at the curb. She stepped off the sidewalk, opened the door, and slid inside. Where to? The driver asked. Emily didn't hesitate. Just drive. The taxi pulled into traffic, leaving the street behind. She didn't turn around. Didn't check to see if he was following. She already knew the answer. He wouldn't. Not now. Not yet. Because David Crosswell wasn't reckless. He was patient. He wouldn't chase her down the street. He would wait. Because he knew she wouldn't be able to resist coming back. And he was right. Emily leaned back in her seat, staring out the window. Her breath finally slowing. Her hands steadying. She had two choices. She could disappear again. Start over. Stay safe. Or she could finish what she started. Not just watch. Not just wait. But destroy him. Her fingers curled into a fist. No more running. This time, she was going to stop him. The world knew her as Avery Blackwell. A best-selling author. A master of psychological thrillers. A woman who wrote crime stories so real, so chilling, they felt like confessions. Her books filled shelves, her name dominated bestseller lists. But Avery Blackwell wasn't real. She was an invention. A name Emily Carter had created the day she decided to disappear. Because surviving David Crosswell wasn't enough. She had spent 20 years watching him. Tracking his patterns. Following the women who vanished the way she almost had. And instead of chasing him in the streets, she had hunted him in ink. Every book was a warning. A carefully constructed puzzle. A way to expose him, without him ever realizing. And now? Now, he had made his first mistake in years. Because the latest victim, the one who had just disappeared, wasn't random. Emily closed her laptop, her fingers hovering over the keyboard. For years, she had written endings. Given justice to the women who never got it. But this time, she thought she was about to write the final chapter. She didn't know yet that she would have to live it. And that the real ending was still unwritten.